Hey, everybody. Welcome to another great episode of the Stampede. I'm your host, Stephen Foster, and this is the Shady Sports Network. Speaking of the Shady Sports Network, we are less than 10 subscribers away from hitting our goal of 750 subscribers. One lucky person will win some CIF merchandise once we hit the goal, so definitely smash that subscribe button ASAP.
The sponsor for this week's episode of the Stampede is Mountain Mud Service and Supply Incorporated. Fully stocked product lines ranging from standard and specialty drilling, mud, and chemical products, production and workover fluids, cementing or float equipment, in-stock and special order pit liners and erosion controls, as well as rental equipment. Utilizing our private fleet gives us the ability to deliver, load, pick up, or drop ship products 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, no matter the load size. With safety and speed as our number one goals, Mountain Mud Service and Supply Incorporated has been operating with no lost time accidents since the ownership changed hands on January 1st, 2006. Call us at 307-682-8688 or visit us at mountainmud.com. That's mtnmud.com. That's 307-682-8688 today.
Mustangs are in the semifinals with that great win at home against the Southwest Kansas Storm last Saturday. Now we head to Salina to try and dethrone the defending champs. Tonight we are joined by one of the coaches for our Mustangs. Please welcome to the show, Brent Taylor. How you doing, Brent?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Outstanding. Brent, tell everybody where you're from.
So I currently live in Gillette, but this is my first year. I'm wrapping up my first year in Gillette, and I have spent basically my whole life in Arkansas.
How do you, what are the first thoughts for the first year in Gillette there?
Well, for me and my family, it's been absolutely amazing. We've absolutely loved everything about it. There's so much because I've got 4 kids. And so there's just so much. It's such a kid-friendly town, and there's parks on every corner, and there's just so much stuff for them to do. That we have really, really enjoyed our first year here.
I'm glad to hear that. When did you begin coaching, and when did you coach? When did you start to coach indoor football for the first time?
So this is my first year to coach indoor football, and so I've been coaching. This is my 22nd season. I get to double up in seasons this year. But so I've been coaching for about 21 years. And this is my 22nd season.
Wow, and this is your first full year in the CIF or in the indoor football.
That's correct. Yes, that is correct.
What do you like most about coaching in indoor football so far?
It's just it's so exciting. It's so fast paced, and everything is kind of everything happens really, really quick. And so that part has been probably the thing that I like the best about it. Yeah.
Sure. Have you always coached the big guys? Have you always coached the linemen?
I've always enjoyed it. So most of my career coaching has been at the high school level, and so in Arkansas, I kind of have had several different jobs, coached at several different schools. Some of them were bigger schools, some of them were smaller schools. At the smaller schools, you're kind of forced to coach on both sides of the ball, offense and defense. And so much just depends on who else is on the staff. At some point in my career, I've coached every single position on the field. And so, but there's just something about the attitude, the big guys' attitude, and just their way their overall approach to just life and just the game. It makes it a lot of fun for me.
For sure. Coach, you oversee both offensive and defensive lines. Talk to me about the unique challenges this presents when coaching both sides of the ball.
Yeah, so it's something that I was when Coach first asked if I would be willing to do that. Then I said absolutely. I've done it a lot in my career. The one thing that wasn't prepared for early was doing them at the same time. Like it's usually been where you have defensive emphasis for a little bit, and then you switch over to the offense, and you go from there. But when we first, back during camp when I was trying to do it, it was like, I'm coaching at the same time. I got offensive guys over here and defensive guys over here. So that was that took me a minute to get kind of a good grasp of how to get that done. But once that, again, when you've done it a long time, then you kind of start to figure out some things. So
nice. Okay, so this is the 4-point play segment. This is basically 4 random rapid fire questions. That's just to help everybody get to know you a little better.
All right.
Okay, here we go. Favorite vacation destination?
I think anywhere in the mountains. I like the mountains. I'm a mountain kind of guy.
Me too, definitely. Your favorite music?
Music, man, I've got, like, if you look at my Amazon list, it goes anywhere from rap to Christian to country. I'm all over the place. It's whatever mood I'm in that day.
Love it. Your superstitions, yes or no?
No, I don't have any superstitions.
UFOs are real, yes or no?
I'm going to say no.
You're going to say no. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That was easy. That was the 4-point play.
Yeah.
All right. So what has it been like for you to be part of the unbelievable turnaround of the Gillette Mustangs?
Yeah. Coming in, I had no idea really what to expect. And so just, I don't know what went on in the past, with just hearing stories of talking to Coach Walker from last year. I get an idea of what was going on last year, but just once from the moment that I met with him, with Coach Walker, and I knew that that it was going to be done right. He just is so good at everything that he does, and he's got his hands in everything. That's what's incredible about the job that he's done, is he's not just on the field coaching. He's coaching every aspect. He's doing everything, general manager, all that stuff. And so just, you can't hardly spend any time around him and think that it's not going to go well.
Nice. I like that. Which coach that you have worked with under your 22 seasons now of your career was the most influential for you?
I would say probably about 8 years ago. I worked for a coach named Josh Price, and he was the kind of local high school coach, and he was probably the one that I think that kind of put it all together, because I've worked for a lot of different guys, and they all have certain aspects that I've tried to take or tried to emulate. Oh man, they're really good at this, or I really like the way they do this. But he was the one that kind of had it all. He had the total package of just like he was he knew the offense, he knew the defense. He was just he had the leadership, he had the presence, and the biggest thing that I kind of took away from him was he kind of it's very similar with Coach Walker. He's like, hey, this has got my name on it, and so we're going to do it exactly the way I want to do it. And so he would let you coach, but at the same time he would say, if you weren't doing it exactly the way he wanted it done, he would make sure you knew. I've been with some guys that would kind of just were not really confrontational, but it was going to be done the way he needed it done and the way he saw it being done. And so he was really good to explain that to you, so that you didn't have to guess. There was no like, well, I don't know if I'm doing it right. I don't know if I'm doing a good job, and not in a bad way, but he would just make sure that you were equipped to do your job. And it's really like, I would say that I was around him longer than I've been around with Coach Walker, but it's the closest thing. Coach Walker's, they're very similar in their approaches.
Sure. What is your ultimate goal for your personal coaching career? Would you like to be running your own team in the future?
Yeah, I would love to be a head coach someday, but I really don't get too caught up into that, because I feel like if it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen.
Sure.
I honestly just I want to go out and be the very, very best. Like this year, again, I had no idea what to expect. So when I got into the indoor game, my whole goal was to do a good enough job to be asked back. And so that's kind of my philosophy, my approach is that, hey, if I will do a good job, then people will notice, and the head coaches will appreciate it, and they'll want me around, and my opportunity will come. Just make sure that I'm ready when and if it does come. Sure.
What advice would you give to someone who's interested in becoming a coach at any level?
You really have to you have to have a couple things. You have to have a good support system, because there's some days that are rough. Like I've been very blessed with a wife who understands what it is that I do and what is required. And she's been with me my whole career, my whole coaching career. And so that's huge, because if I try to take some of that stuff home, then she keeps me grounded. She kind of talks me through it, or she lets me vent or whatever. So that's number one. You got to have that support system at home, because there can be some very challenging days in it. But and then number two, I would say, just work, just learn everything you can from every single person. You don't have to love every person or everything that they do that you're working with and around, but just try to find something that they do that you can use that will help you be a better coach. And so that's my whole goal is I want to just kind of sit and observe and find ways to get better.
How do you evaluate players and make decisions about who to start and who to sit?
Thing about football is it's a bottom line game. Like if you're making plays, that's the number one thing. And so I tell my guys all the time, like I especially at this level, I'm not going to micromanage everything that you do on the field. So if I've got a way that I want it done. Like I'm your stance and your technique. I've got a way to teach that. If yours is slightly different, but you're still making tackles and you're doing your job and you're able to get, for defensive line, you're able to get pressure on the quarterback, then I'm not going to change your way. I'm not going to say you have to do it exactly the way I want to if you're still producing. Now, if you're not producing, then we're going to say, okay, try it this way. And then if you're trying it that way and you're still not producing, then we got to, we'll do something different there. But that's really kind of it's a bottom line profession. You got to be able to get out there and do your job. And sometimes, and that's the thing with defensive linemen, it's not always about tackles or sacks, or it's more, are you doing the job that you're asked to do on that play? If you may not make a play, but if you're in the right spot to where the quarterback is not able to escape to your side, he's having to go somewhere else, then someone else might make that tackle, but you made the play. And so getting guys to understand that, and that's part of it. It's part of the evaluation process. It's just, are you doing your job?
Sweet. Thank you for sharing that with us.
Yeah. How
do you motivate your players and keep them focused throughout the season?
That's a good question, and it's all, everyone is so different, and so that's part of just kind of trying to learn the athletes that you're dealing with and finding out what it is that motivates them. Some of them need to be, you got to light a fire under them. Some of them just need to put an arm around their shoulder. Some of them need to be reminded, why it is they're doing what they're doing. And so that's kind of the trick, is just figuring out what each one of your players need to kind of get them going. And so I'm not a super fiery guy, and I like I said, there's guys that probably wish that I would be a little more fiery. I'm more of my default is, hey, I'm going to come up to you and explain, hey, I'm going to ask you, what did you do? What did you see? And then say, well, this is what I saw. This is how we can fix it. I'm not going to just come screaming across the room, letting you know that, hey, you got to do it this way. It's really not my personality. I will if it's an effort deal. That's usually about the only time that I'll kind of lose my cool, is if it's an effort deal. But again, at this level, these guys are professionals, and you don't have to coach effort all that much.
Coach, is there anybody you would like to give a shout out to?
Man, I just, my defensive line, they've been great all year. Devontae Wright is really playing so well right now down the stretch. I've just been really proud of him. Caleb Lowry has been solid all season. Garrett Pimbleton's been here the entire time as well. Those three have kind of been the anchors on the defensive line. And so it's been great to get to know those guys, as just, off the field as well as on the field. We've added a couple lately, Jay Bullock has been a really great addition. He came probably, I think, maybe 6 weeks ago or so. And then here recently we've got Cameron Preston in. And so those guys, they've done such a great job because part of the season I've was not able to be at every single practice, and so we would just have to we'd have to film practice and have to meet after my teaching job was over. I'd come over, we'd meet with them, and they handled it so well. They're just so, again, they're just true professional guys that know, hey, this is the job that has to be done. And I would, basically I tell them what to do, then I'd watch it on film, and then we'd get together and talk about it, And so the last few weeks since school's been out, it's been so much better because now I can be back in there hands-on and getting it done. So, yeah, so those guys have been great.
Fantastic. Coach, I really appreciate you spending some time with us tonight. Best of luck at Salina tomorrow. I hope you give it to them.
All right. Thank you.
There you have it. Another episode is in the books. Be sure to watch the game this Saturday night on YouTube. Until next time, go Mustangs.